Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I will be going through my team reveal for round 2 and going through, I guess, what I've changed for the BBL SuperCoach, what my trades were, why I've done them, because there is a big call in doing this. I am probably sacrificing potentially on the predictor. I think sacking somewhere close to 20k, 30k, somewhere around that range, but it's all for, I'm sacking 26k on one player and also another, I'm sacking about 45k, but that is based on the predicted model, and predictions for a batter can be completely out. So that's why I think that that's a little bit overrated, that predictor, and I think it's going to be close to somewhere more so around that, I'd say maybe 30k or so that I'm sacrificing, but I'm sacrificing that to get a better flexibility as well as some better scoring in the round 3. So I think it'll be sort of a payback a little bit, as well as I do think overall it will actually outscore. I think the plan will actually still, my player will outscore the guy that I'm getting rid of instead of him. And so in the end, I think it will probably net me around 80 points, 90 points for about 40 or so K cash, not generation, but a little bit of loss, I'd say. So yeah, it's about 90k for 90 points for around 17k loss in cash off that guy alone, which goes against what I've been saying a little bit in the preseason, but I think it will work out in the long run. So before we get into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see, a lot of stuff changes. As you can see here, if we make, is this big enough for you guys? Let me just check here. 110, that should be big enough. So as you can see, if I was to reverse my changes, Sam Billings would go back on field as a keeper, etc. Dusty Short, he was changed around a little bit as well. Colin Munro, as you can see, is one of my outs as well, and that is the big name that I was talking about in the intro. We'll get to that in a little bit. Fraser McGurk, back onto the emergencies. You'll see that I'm looping with him when I get to that. Maxwell will be a looper as well, given that he doesn't play, even though he's injured, doesn't play, etc. It doesn't really matter. He will be one of the loopers that I use, depending on Tanvir Singer tomorrow night. His score, Josh Philippe just is flicking around in the field as I get rid of Billings. That's sort of a after effect or a ripple effect of the Sam Billings, and then Ben Benenti is coming on, as I suspect he will be the spinner that plays, and then Michael Nisa, and he is he comes off the captaincy, it's taken off of him, and then also he is getting flipped around a little bit. Well, yeah, no, he's actually getting traded out. So yeah, no, he is one of the ones that gets traded, and then Will Sutherland is being moved around as I need to, as I'm starting to move those sort of all-rounders into the batter category, as we are more set for bowlers. As we know, bowlers historically get around 10 to 15 more average, on average more, I should say, than the batters. So if I get rid of that, then you will see my trades. Well, you saw those trades. Let me actually bring them back up again. Sam Billings, Munro out, Nessa out for Jamie Overton. Jamie Overton is a guy that I flagged hugely. He is bowling, which is really good, given that we've seen in the past. I know, given I support some Somerset in the T20 Blast and their domestic county season. He used to play for them and then moved away from his playing alongside his brother to Surrey, and along at Surrey there was it was hard to judge whether he was actually injured or just not bowling, because they were so stacked with their lineup. They had, like I was saying, I think in the preseason, something like 7 all-rounders or something in their lineup, so it was quite hard. I think it was Jack Steele, I looked at it a couple of days ago, we looked at it in the trade targets. He wasn't actually getting a bowl, even though he's an out-and-out bowler, Jack Steele. So that just shows that they had too many guys. So Overton, I think, was on the men then and could have bowled 1 or 2, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think he's he's completely fine now with his back injuries, and a hard-hitting guy that strikes the ball he's striking the ball last couple of years at around 160 plus is absolutely huge, especially if he can do the Cooper Connolly and get 20 off 8, 20 off 8, 20 off 10, get that 45 points, and then with a ball take 1 for. That'll get him 70 points on average, and all we need from him is 2 70-point games, as you'll see, as break even and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm hugely confident he does really well. Bring in Matt Short just because he's Matt Short and he could pull off 100 off here and take 1 for with the ball alongside a couple of catches as well with he's just the Supercoach King the last couple of years. And then David Payne, I think we're still running that poll. If I bring this up as well here, get to my profile here, you'll see as well as we'll talk about the weather as well. That needs to be talked about. That is flip-flopping on the hour basically at this point. And then we go through here, you'll see 27 votes at the moment. David Payne 63%, Wes Agar 37%. 3 hours left with that. So this video will go up about an hour before that this poll should close. So remember to vote if you haven't voted, just so that I get a clearer idea on what you guys are potentially doing, as this is probably one of the flip-flop decisions, is going either Payne or Agar. As I cannot, as you can see here, 23k, I can't get to the likes of Baisley, which I think I would have rathered, but I think Payne is a good substitute, as I think he can still go 50, 55, and that's all that we need from him. So the reason getting rid of Billings, 56, I just didn't like him, and he's a batter basically only now, as I expect Pearson to come back, and we don't want batters on singles. It's as simple as that. Bowlers we want on singles if they're doing that, and then even batters on doubles I don't trust, so I want that all-rounders at best, like at worst, and bowlers at worst and all-rounders are the best in my opinion. Then Munro, this is a big call, and it's because of this negative 28 break even that he has. You can see that projected score, but if he goes and gets a 0, which is so easy for that to happen, he just nicks off first ball or something like that. He's been dropped I think 3 or 4 times already. I think he's been dropped in both games twice. So if he gets caught early and then he gets to like a 5 or something like that, and you've got him on field, then that 5 compared to like a Jai Richardson, which we'll talk about, he should clear 5 very, very easily. That's going to get that projected price change is going to actually in reality going to be like 8, 9, 10k, and 10k for a guy that scores 5 points when Jai Richardson could easily score 70 or an 80 and just blow him off the park so easily. I'm picking Jai Richardson as that bowler customarily goes and scores 10 plus points compared to an out and out batter, and Jai Richardson, we haven't even seen him with the bat yet, so he could easily get a bat and score 20 or something like that off like 10 balls, get a strike rate bonus or something crazy like that, as he's actually been playing pretty well with the bat in the March One Day Cup. I think he has a 35 or something like that as well to his name. So here you have the team at the moment, and at the moment I think Phillippe and McDermott are just going to stay with my in those wicketkeeper spots on the field and on the bench the whole season, and just when McDermott plays the double, just play him there as a even though he's a batter, just because I don't want to be fiddling with that as much, and there aren't too many keepers that I really want, and I think I'm going to anti-pod the likes of Quinton de Kock, so there's not many keepers that I want. Maybe Inglis I bring in or something like that, but McDermott's still on the double in that round 7 I believe, so I think I'll have just McDermott there and Phillippe on the bench there, as they can gain cash and potentially dump one of them for like Nielsen in the last couple rounds, potentially to gain more cash, as I won't really be needing a loop necessarily, as I'll be dumping cash off the bench to get those really 190k plus type guys. But yeah, pretty happy with that wicket-keeper bunch there. Then we go to the batters, and you can just see, if I should probably make this a little bit bigger for you guys, but you can just see my thoughts here with getting those all-rounders in. Short here as well, he's coming in, he's VC'd with Curran, but the most likely plan is for one of Maxwell to be somewhere here and to be looped, hopefully looped in somewhere. I mean, if Tanvir Sangha fails and Darcy Short fails, then we're probably going to have to figure something out, but hopefully he doesn't fail necessarily. One of them goes off so that I can loop in properly and not have to take Curran's captaincy score, as he could flop in one game. But I think still Curran as a captain is still good enough as a backup captain, as he He may make a lot less than Short, but I have faith in Tanvir Sanger or Darcy Short at least doing something, so that should at least help us out there. But just hoping that one of them does well on the Tuesday night, so that I can just be like, yep, I can sub Glenn Maxwell in. As the good thing about it is Glenn Maxwell just comes straight in for the likes of probably Cooper Connolly either way. It's going to be Cooper Connolly either way, but it'll just be Cooper Connolly straight here, or if it's if Glenn Maxwell needs to come in because Tanvir Sanger does well, then it'll be Paul Walter there, then Cooper Connolly just straight swap there. So Connolly will end up in this spot most likely here, and Maxwell will be either here or here, just depending on who does well. But that's basically the loop that I've got playing, depending on Short and Sanger's scores, as Short could easily, like I was saying with a lot of the batsmen, drop a 0, drop another 0, not get a bowl because there's a lot of Adelaide options and I don't know if he'll necessarily get a bowl, not do anything in the field, and then drop like 20, a couple of 20s, and that's just not good enough. So he'll be definitely looped, especially early on in the season, as we see how he goes, as this form has been absolutely pathetic. So he's lucky to almost get in the Adelaide side, so we'll just see how he goes. As he has been a Supercoach beast in the past, so we'll just see if he does get a bowl or not. But anyway, Tom Curran, he's there. He's an all-rounder, potentially gets 20 off 10 with the bat type of material and has his 4 overs on lock. So hopefully he takes 2 for with the ball and has a little bit with the bat, as I don't know exactly how many teams he's in, but he should be in 30-40% of the teams. If I go list here and then go, if I go list and then I go also coaches, you'll see here, hopefully a lot of teams have him in. He's actually only 32% owned, so I expect him to rise slowly across the year, even though he is a one game per round player. I still expect him to get into the 40s, etc. As I just want to see who are my pods, and it is my strikers, boys, as well as Paul Walter staying as a pod, even though I really like his role. But let's just go now to the field. And you can see here, Sutherland, I am so glad that I went with Sutherland over Abbott, as that's now turned out to be something like 45k in cash, as well 30k to start, or 40k to start in cash, as well as a cash gen flip of about 40k, and now also 150 odd or 140 points in round 1. And as well as Sutherland has the double in round 3. So that's just turned out to go massively in my favour. Jamie Overton, we talked about in the intro, basically. I have high hopes for him. Connolly is probably going to end up on the bench, but I have really high hopes. Even though we've just heard news that Lance Morris is released from the BBL, released from his test duties for the BBL game over in Perth. So that probably limits Hardy and Connolly bowling-wise, but I still think Connolly, with a negative 13 break-even, he could still provide 40 just with the bat alone and potentially 10 in the field with the catch. So he will probably just be a cash guy at the moment until we get news of potentially Lance Morris playing in Sydney, or potentially, I don't know when they may play him. They'll play him some point in this summer. It's just a matter of when. So hopefully they play him in Sydney just to give Cooper Connolly a better role. And I do want to see him in Sydney. Just because I think he does deserve a chance, and just to see how he does play in the test arena, Lance Morris that is. Fraser McGurk on the sideline here, -9 break even. He could easily make a 45 here and go up. If he makes a 45, he'll probably go up 14 or 15k, so he could easily clear 80k, 90k before his double in round 3. And like Darcy Short, given that he's a batter only, he will probably be a loop in round 3 when we get to that. Darcy Short we talked about. Jai Richardson is the guy that I debated with about Munro, and if I did trade for Richardson, trade him out rather than Munro, I'd probably be going Baisley, and also Baisley over the likes of probably even Overton, or potentially Baisley just over Payne. But I just really think in the future you will see in round 3 why holding Richardson is, in my personal belief, going to be the play that hopefully gets me even 1,000 ranks on a lot of these guys, just holding in that top 1,000 in the end. and hopefully you'll see in the long run why that is. Yes, it will suck for potentially cash gen because of the Richardson 130 break even, but I still think he can put up a 70 or an 80 here and it won't be too bad, as the break even last round was a 160 and he put up an 80, so he went down 17 or something K for. If I quickly just switch my camera for a second, I can bring up my SuperCoach, the data that I have on an Excel spreadsheet. Here we go. So let's bring this back up here and let me just switch this around for you guys. Here we go. So you see in round one, Richardson went down 17.5K for a minus 86, and I haven't pegged for minus 25K. So say he does his, he's currently projected to go down minus 39K for a 0, which could be awkward, especially with Monroe. But if he gets, say, a total of, say he puts up 80, say he puts up a 74, he only goes down 16K, and that's overestimating his downgrade. It is very likely that downgrade is more like a 14 or a 13K. So if he, say he puts up 100, bomb, that'll probably mean that he goes down like 5K, and that'll be huge. And 100 with Monroe doing like a 0 or like a 10 or a 20, that 80 points could put me back up like 60, well, not even 60 ranks, probably like 600 ranks. So it is a big gamble with the cash gen, but I think if Richardson dines out against, are they playing? Who are they playing? Who are they playing? Hobart? I think he could run through Hobart. They're not looking the best. So I think he could run through Hobart and pick up, if he picks up anything more than about 3 wickets, this will be a massive win for me. Then we got Adam Zampa at that bowler 2 spot. And yeah, he was one guy that I tempted about being the guy that I not trade out, but sit out for looping purposes. But I think Cooper Conley's just the guy. And just really happy that Zampa didn't get that game in Geelong, as his break-even is now 17. He should hopefully beat that and just become one of those guys that is hard to get to. So hopefully people have to sacrifice bigger guys, like potentially, not necessarily, if people have to sacrifice Curran, that'd be huge, because if Zampa and Sutherland go up in price massively. So yeah, hoping that Zampa has a really good round and Mujeeb has a really poor round, as that'll just help make it almost impossible for people, or make them wreck their structure to get Zampa in. Then you have David Payne, 139K. I really liked how he played last year, and 83 break even, 129 projected score. If he goes somewhere, hopefully he just goes 100 across the 2 games. Him and Overton go 100 across the 2 games. That'll be potentially somewhere close to 17 plus 26, 40. It'll probably be somewhere close to 11 to 12K of cash gen. Trade them out and get them to the Melbourne Renegades or Stars players. I'm thinking like Usman Mir and potentially another Renegades bowler, potentially Richardson or something if he's playing well. So yeah, looking at those guys, and then potentially a Stars bowler in maybe Harris Ralph, I think leaves halfway through, but someone like that, Harris Ralph or something like that as well. Just looking at those type of guys, those bowlers only really, as I don't really like any of the batters for either side. I'm only really liking batters that are, well, all-rounders or play a triple like Monroe did. But yeah, David Payne, he should do well. Paul Walter is on the single, but does have that 2 break even, so he should be able to hit that, and hopefully his role gets better. Hopefully Nessa is still dealing with soreness, so Walter gets the 4 overs, and if he can get another 70 or something like that, another 70 is going to get him up like 20K, and he potentially is the guy that I'll hold, depending on just his price. If he's better priced than the likes of like a David Payne or something like that, or an Overton or something like that post buy, and I'll just quickly look at my trade plan evolution just to see. I probably want to be holding the Adelaide guys in there by a little bit more than the likes of the Heat guys. So there is potential for me to potentially hold 3 Adelaide guys in Overton rather than holding Walter, but that'll just depend on probably their break even, their opponents, and their price, as the guys that I can get more price out of, like that I can I guess realize more cash gen, that'll be better for the team. Manenti, I'm just hoping he plays. there is a wide chance that he doesn't play, which will be really, that'll suck a lot, but that'll be just Tam Sanger will just come on if he doesn't play. But I suspect he will play and Thornton won't play is my sort of premonition, I guess, on what will happen. But anyway, that pretty much is the team. I mean, Sanger's here as well, and he's got a minus 35 break even, so he could go up. If he has a really good game, Sanger, he will go up somewhere close to 30k and he will potentially be 140, 150k come his double. So that was a really good selection going him over the likes of Peter Siddle. But anyway, that is the video there, pretty much going through the trade plan, just looking at the team at the moment. So currently the team is, if I look at here with the side, I think that's broken a little bit, that thing. So let me just do this quickly. Here we go. Let's look at the team. The team is currently priced at around about, I'm just quickly changing some stuff around here, equals that plus that. The team is currently, team value is 2,096,000, and with the cash that I have available, that goes up to around about 2.119 million. So there is, I've gained a lot of cash out of that. Gained 120k or something like that in the first round, I believe. So yeah, there's huge potential changes for me. And currently, if everything doesn't change at the moment and these guys get all zeros, which is not going to happen, I will drop 160k in cash. But if they get their averages or their predicted scores, I think I go up potentially another 100k or something like that, and getting that early cash thing to get up to like 2.5 million is going to be huge. So that pretty much is the video, and I'll see you guys. I guess the next video that I'll probably have to record is the game review for the Tuesday night game. That'll be recorded on the Wednesday. So anyway, I'll see you guys for that review. Thanks guys. Goodbye.